The complete works of Swami Vivekananda, The Goal, Part 1. We find that man, as it were, is always surrounded by something greater than himself. And he is trying to grasp the meaning of this. Man will ever seek the highest ideal. He knows that it exists and that religion is a search after that highest ideal. At first, all his searches were in the external plane, placed in heaven, in different places, just according to his grasp of the total nature of man. Later, man began to look at himself a little closer and began to find out the real me was not the me that he stands for in ordinarily. As he appears to the senses is not the same as he really is. He began to search inside of himself and found that the same ideal he had placed outside of him is all the time within. What he was worshipping outside was his own real inner nature. The difference between dualism and monoism is that when the ideal is put outside of oneself, it is dualism. When the God is sought within, it is monoism. First, the old question of why and wherefore. It is that man become limited? How did the infinite become finite? The pure become impure? In the first place, you must never forget that this question can never be answered by any dualistic hypothesis. Why did God create the impure universe? Why is man so miserable, made by a perfect, infinite, merciful Father? Why this heaven and earth looking at which we get our conception of law? Nobody can imagine anything that he has not seen. All the tortures we feel in this life, we put in another place, and that is our hell. Why did the infinite God make this world? The dualist says, just as the potter makes pots, God the potter, we the pots. In more philosophical language, the question is, how is it taken for granted that the real nature of man is pure, perfect, and infinite? This is the one difficulty found in any system of monoism. Everything else is clean and clear. The question cannot be answered. The monoists say that the question itself is a contradiction. Take the system of dualism. The question asked why God created the world. This is contradictory. Why? Because what is the idea of God? He is a being who cannot be acted upon by anything outside. You and I are not free. I am thirsty. There is something called thirst, over which I have no control, which forces me to drink water. Every action of my body, even every thought of my mind is forced out of me. I have got to do it. That is why I am bound. I am forced to do this, to have this, and so on. And what is meant by why and wherefore? Being subject to external forces. Why do you drink water? Because thirst forces you. You are a slave. You never do anything of your own will because you are forced to do everything. Your only motive for action is some force. The earth by itself would never move unless something forced it. Why does the light burn? It does not burn unless somebody comes and strikes a match. Throughout nature, everything is bound. Slavery. To be in harmony with nature is slavery. What is there in being the slave of nature and living in a golden cage? The greatest law and order is in the knowledge that man is essentially free and divine. Now we see that the question why and wherefore can only be asked in ignorance. I can only be forced to do something through something else. You say God is free. Again, you ask the question why God creates the world. You contradict yourself. The meaning of God is entirely free will. The question put in logical language is this: what forced him, who can never be forced by anybody, to create the world? You say in the same question, what forced him? The question is nonsense. He is infinite by his own nature. By his very nature, he is free. We shall answer questions when you can ask him them in logical language. Reason will tell you that there is only one reality and nothing else. Wherever dualism has risen, monoism came to a head and drove it out. There is only one difficulty in understanding this: religion is a common sense, everyday thing. The man in the street knows it if you put it in his language and not if it is put in a philosopher's language. It is a common thing in human nature to project itself. Think of your feeling with a child. You identify yourself with it. Then you have two bodies. Similarly, you can feel through your husband's mind. Where can you stop? You can feel in infinite bodies. Nature is conquered by man every day. As a race, man is manifesting his power. Try in imagination to put a limit to this power in man. You admit that man as a race has infinite power, has an infinite body. The only question is what you are. Are you in the race or one individual? The moment you isolate yourself, everything hurts you. The moment you expand and feel for others, you gain health. The selfish man is the most miserable in the world. The happiest is the man who is not at all selfish. He has become the whole creation, the whole race, and God is within him. So in dualism, Christian, Hindu, and all the religions, the code of ethics says, do not be selfish. Think for others. Expand.